This is Keith, and welcome back to the Common Sense Casual Prepper podcast. I have been absent for a couple of weeks. COVID finally got me. I'm on my way to work right now, so no intro, just a quick hello and see how everybody is doing. I managed to last the first 2.5 years of this pandemic, and then it got me at the tail end, and man, it really kicked my butt. So this is episode 9, a quick update of some things that have been happening in the last couple of weeks. If you've been following the news, Jackson, Mississippi does not have any fresh drinking water. Apparently it's a combination of lack of maintenance on their water treatment facility, their local water treatment facility, as well as staffing shortages. And then, of course, the floods that have been happening down south and out west, especially the ones down in Mississippi, did not help. The flood waters, breached the creeks, the rivers, and it has actually penetrated the perimeter or the walls of the water treatment plant, so they're unable to process wastewater and get that out to the folks. Plus, there's some mechanical issues with pumps and that sort of thing. So here's a primary example of a situation that you really couldn't predict. If someone had to say, what are the odds of the wastewater treatment, plant going down in Jackson, Mississippi, it was probably pretty small. But here's a perfect example. There's been a run on bottled water, gallons of water, bottled water through Walmart and your local store. So basically they are out. And here is a perfect example that if there are folks down in Jackson, Mississippi that have prepped and have specifically prepped water, they do not have to drive, a couple hours away to a Walmart. They don't have to rely on whomever, the government, Red Cross, other charities to provide them water. They don't have to stand in line for several hours to get a couple gallons of water, for cooking and bathing and food prep. So there's a perfect example of how somebody prepping for water down there is certainly much better off. We look out west. I believe it was in Houston, Texas. Last week they received 9 inches of rain in a 24-hour period, which is pretty much the entire rainfall they should receive for the summer. And some people may, that's great, we needed the rain. Well, you don't need 9 inches all at once. The ground can only soak in a certain amount, and the rest is just simply runoff that leads to erosion and deterioration. The ground becomes super saturated and there's nowhere for the water to go. Same out west in Arizona. A lot of flash floods, homes and businesses and the landscape. There's not a lot of grass and shrubbery and trees. When these heavy rains come down from the mountains, it just basically leads to erosion, and it just eats away, footings for bridges and roadways and that sort of thing. I read recently where there is a significant issue with the tomato crop, if you can believe that. 90% of the tomatoes consumed here in the United States are grown in California, and with the series of droughts and the heat waves that they're having, tomatoes do not do very well in super high heat, nor do they do well in ground that is super saturated, that is constantly wet. So there is a significant threat of a shortage of tomatoes. I know I went to Costco this past weekend and then to Walmart. Costco had plenty of tomato sauce, tomato paste, tomato juice, but the Walmart did not. The Walmart was basically sold out of tomato sauce, tomato juice, and there was some tomato paste. So I am considering purchasing some tomato sauce this weekend and then running it through the freeze dryer, and then basically just make a powder, and it can be reconstituted later. So you take the tomato situation and you can extrapolate that or run that over to any other food. You've got corn, green beans, any type of fruit. If a drought or serious flooding is going to compromise the tomato crop, then why wouldn't these same type of weather conditions in a different part of the country or the world go ahead and compromise that as well? So anyway, folks, still getting over COVID, feeling much better, but super, super tired. I think I slept, last night I slept 9 hours. The night before I slept 8 hours, which is pretty much a world record for me. So as soon as I get back on my feet, I will get these podcasts coming to you all a little more frequently. So as usual, be safe out there. Take care of one another. Until next time.